Shalom Yasharala. Before you go into this lesson, we give all honor, all glory, and all praises be to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakodash. We give the honor to the apostles and prophets and elders of JMS Camp, Veterans Great Millstone, for the bring forth the 100% truth that I be currently edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David, and I'm Roberta Zaria coming through this lesson. Now, with that understanding of what we see in here in the Hebrew alphabet, we already know what we are going into. And the reason why we are going to the alphabet or the ancient Hebrew tongue is because many people have a misunderstanding of what the Hebrew tongue represents. Many Hebrew Israelites stem to say that they have the Paleo Hebrew, but still use the concepts of Yiddish, which is a mixed language via the vowel points like E and O and U. These were never in the consonant letters of the Lashawan Kadash, the Hebrew tongue, ancient Hebrew. Remember, it started off in base consonant letters, which we see in here. Ka, ya, ta, ka, za, wa, ha, da, ga, ba, a, tha, sha, ra, ka, taza, pa, I, sa, na, ma, la. Not 22 alphabets. It's 22 consonant letters. 22 consonant letters that make up the alphabet of the ancient Hebrew tongue. That's what they fail to understand. Even siblings that said the same thing. Or E and O and all these things. No, man. It's not an alpha. It's not like the alphabet in English. If you can't go back to the consonant letters, the original consonant letters, you're not speaking the actual language, but a bastardized language that is masked as the language. It's simple. Because when you go back into the Yiddish, right? Because the concept of the vowel points of O and E and U were added into modernized Hebrew. It was used to modernize the Hebrew. That's why Eliezer created new words for the purpose of what? Modernizing Hebrew. In order for you to create new words, you have to add in new what? New letters. It's not hard. This is not rocket science. This is doing research, studying under the right teachers. So before we go into the topic, let's get a precept. And the precept we are going into is Zephaniah chapter 3 and verses 9. And it goes on and said, Zephaniah chapter 3 and verses 9, it says, "For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent." What is that pure language he's going to return unto the people? Ancient Hebrew. Going back into what? The 22 consonant letters. The Lashawan Kodash. That's your pure language. Because the concepts of Yiddish is mixed. It's considered a mix of fused language, which you could literally type in. Is Yiddish considered is Yiddish a pure language? Let's type it in ChatGPT, and you'd see, yes, Yiddish. I have it right down here to make it short and brief. Yes, Yiddish is a mixed or fused language, primarily of Germanic language that that uses a unique combination of medieval High German / Hebrew, including rabbinical and Mishnaic and Aramaic, with significant contributions from various Slavic language and traces of Romance language. It's a total combination of many languages, creating the songs and even having what you know as O and U and E's. Even bringing in what, as we know today, as F. It's just that simple. This is a simple research. This proves that the information given to you would be what? Of Yiddish. So you have to go back a little bit. Go back a little bit more. Because let me show you something. Maybe who was responsible for really honing in and refurbishing the language to that point? Like right here. Again, you could do this research. I didn't even know how to do this. His name is Eliezer ben Yehuda. Was the driving force behind the revival of modern Hebrew, transforming from a sacred liturgical my pronunciation slack, yeah. Slack the dog back in. Right. The sound gone, the garbage truck gone, no dogs, right? Sacred pronunciation, so like liturgical language, which liturgical supposed to mean, let me get it. Right, liturgical, it says what? Liturgical refers to any related or liturgy, related to liturgy, the public or structure or a communal ritual or worship of a religious group, particularly in Christianity. Go on to say this includes the specific words, music, prayers, actions, gestures formed during several service, like the mass or other sacraments, shaping the community's spiritual and communal life. So let's go back into what we read. It says, a liturgical language into a spoken vernacular for the daily life in Palestine and latter Israel. Hebrew established organizations like the Language Committee compiled the first comprehensive modern Hebrew dictionary and invented hundreds of new words to suit modern concepts, successfully establishing Hebrew as a living national language. So what they did? They transformed the Hebrew from sacred language into modernized language by doing what? With adding in words, adding in letters, new words, new words to suit modern concepts. This is where the vowel points would have been properly added in. It's used to modernize the language. Also to mask the language so the children of Israel may be no more in remembrance or would not be able to turn back to the Father as they had planned according to what Psalms 83, our enemies, which is Esau, Edom, and the recipients that follow after. Let's keep reading. Revival of spoken Hebrew. Ben Yehuda championed the use of Hebrew in everyday speech, a significant shift from its previous role as a purely sacred language. Do you catch what I'm telling you at this point? In other words, anybody that uses the language of Ben Yehuda, which has the vowel points of O, E, U, and other things, and J's, or eventually coming down an English term to J's, you are off. You are off. One more time. You are off. You are going off. Go back to a very ancient. Let's keep going. I ain't stopping. We're going straight down. Modern dictionary. And again, literally type up Eliezer ben Yehuda's role. And this is the information you get. I didn't have to try to trick the AI to get my answer. Eliezer ben Yehuda roll on Hebrew language. That's it. As I'm speaking, as you see it, you could pause this very video and do the exact same thing I tell you to do, and you'll get the exact same answer written here. Let's keep going. Modern dictionary. He began the creation of a more nomental dictionary, a complete dictionary of the ancient and modern Hebrew. So you see what he's doing? You see what he's doing? Which served to unify and codify the newly developing language. I'm done. I'm done. Do we need more proof? Do we need more proof? Not only that he refurbished, but he added in the vowel points and created new words. Do we need more proof? So if a Hebrew Israelite is saying ancient Hebrew, but still using the concepts of Yiddish, you are off. That is not a pure language. Because when they go back into the concepts of Yiddish, let's go into it. Yiddish, it says a historical Judeo-German or Jew-German, which is already off, is a West Germanic language historically spoken by Ashkenazi Jews. It originated in the 9th century. It's a Central Europe and provided the nascent Ashkenazi community with a vernacular based on High German fused with many elements taken from Hebrew, notably Messianic and to some extent Aramaic. Most varieties of Yiddish include elements of Slavic language, which we read, and the vocabulary contains traces of Romance language. Yiddish has traditionally been written using the Hebrew alphabet. Do we now understand? This is why we go on to make you understand. At first, it was in the what? Paleo-ancient Hebrew text, which traces back to 1200 plus and go back BC. I'm going to pause. I want to get some information here. This is why we have what? In the ancient Hebrew. Let's go back. Ancient Hebrew text, which is what? Yeah, as you see in the letter forms here, which is ka, which you read before, ka, ya, ta, ka, za, wa, ha, da, ga, ba, a, fa, sha, ra, ka, ta, za, pa, I, sa, na, ma, la, which is your Paleo Hebrew. And then from there, it was beginning to be modernized during the time of the Assyrian time, which is what? Abrahamic Hebrew or Aramaic Hebrew, which is in 1600 BC, which was in the square text, but the translation for the square text was still ka ta still ka za wa ha da ga ba a sa na ma la ka ya Amta, Sha, Ra, Kwa, Taza, Pa, I. Until they begin to started to form the what? Yiddish. Then the vowel points was added in. If you remove the vowel points, if you add in the vowel points, it would no longer become a consonant letter of the ancient Hebrew. So modern Hebrew, the language, how they wrote it would have been square text, but it still hold the traditional sound, the pronunciation of the Paleo Hebrew. And we seen when it was changed. So if that be the case, then everybody that is calling on names with the mixed language concept of that Yiddish language is going off. Because the Bible promised to preserve unto us a pure language. And as far as we know, Eliezer ben Yehuda was responsible for refurbishing and adding the vowel points. That he took the ancient Hebrew from its ruins and restored it and changing the songs as understood. And again, this is in Wikipedia. And this is information, you can just look this up. This is not hard to do. This is why when they go into the Blue Letter Bible, and they go into Exodus chapter 3 and verses 15, given the name forever, let's read it, and let's get into the part one time. We ain't sticking, we ain't playing. Exodus chapter 3 and verses 15. Here it says, and power said unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob, had sent me unto you. This is my name forever. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. And when you go into let me get the letter Bible still. Right, as it's loading in, when you go into the I think it's interlinear or cross reference of the information, it tells you, aside from giving it sweet precepts for you to understand, it also shows you that what the name here referred to is that which immediately precedes YHWH, which is the tetragrammaton in the English form. The square text form of that tetragrammaton would also be shown if you go further into the lesson, or you could go into the interlinear, which we're going to go into right now just to show you before you continue. As you can see, it's right there. Yehovah, so you see, it's exactly what I'm saying. How to change it up. And there it is right here. I wish I could have to zoom in. Right next to strong definitions. There's your square text. But, I'm going to pause again. Like I said. So there's your what? I'm going to pause again. Right. There's your square text. However, these are the square text that was translated using what? Yiddish from the Aramaic square text, which the translations was still of the original or the origins, which is the Lashon Kodash, the consonant letters, 22 consonant letters, into what we know as Yiddish today, which is why they still use these box texts, these squarish looking texts. This is why they still use this today. We know where it stems from. Going back now to get the name that they know the name, but they will not tell you the name. You have to do your own research. And even so, there's blockages to prevent you from getting the name unless you have the right teachers. It says there again, this here referred to is that which immediately precedes YHWH. Again, tetragrammaton in the English language, which is Yahweh. Which when you remove the vowel points that was added in, which we know now, you get Yahweh. Back then, what people be talking about, what? W, the W is new. W is the first letter for the W was supposed to be U. That way it's called W. No! The ancient Hebrew text, they didn't have a letter called W. Use your head. It's the pronunciation of the word, which is why they call it W today. Wa was always an understanding, was always a pronunciation of the text in ancient Hebrew. Use your head. Going back into it. I don't understand why people be saying that. Do you even go back to understand what went on? No. But you're copying and pasting. Which nothing is wrong with doing. And if you're under the right tutelage, you can't come and say W is a letter was manufactured because U was first. In the ancient Hebrew, they used to say you or they used to say wa. That's all I'm saying. If they say wah, you're wrong. It's simple. Not uwa and a wah. Ya, ha, wah. Not uwa. Wah. If they used to say wah back then, you're wrong. So let's go back and let's continue. I'd establish that point. We have to establish that point. So as you see in here, Yehovah, like I said, remove the vowel points like O, E, U, V, F, X, J. I mean, that's regular letters aside from the vowel points, which O, E, U, right? And you will get the actual language, the actual name, which is Yahweh, simple, which will translate it, which we translate to Lord by the name by which power had been known from creation of the world. Genesis chapter 2 and verses 2. Let's get that precept immediately. Let me use the next thing. Right? Which is correct. Which is very correct. 2 and 2, and even go back to 2 and 7. Let's read 2 and 2. And on the seventh day, power ended his work which he made, and rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Jump down to verse 7. That's why I'm saying 2 and verse 7. That's why I'm saying Lord here. And Yahweh power, or Lord God, formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. That's why if you're seeing Yahweh power, or Lord God, even in verses 5, even in verses 4. Because why? The name was already understood. It was already known. Which is why now he had to bring it back to our remembrance, because of what would have taken place from then till now, during our transgression against the Father, and the curse is coming upon us. This is why the name was removed. The precept say what he hid his face a little while. I don't want to butcher it, but you should know what I'm talking about. This is why all this was mentioned. It's there to tell you, the name was translated into what? Yiddish, and from Yiddish to English, or to Yiddish to not to Greek and Latin, basically, because the name Jehovah and Jesus is not English names. You still have to translate, and the name Jesus, when you go into it, doesn't actually translate from Yahweh. But let's keep reading. It says, and by which he had spoken in the present day, YHWH, which is Yahweh, which goes into Yahweh, from Hawa, which I'm telling you, this is how you know, from Hawa, and they actually have the proper pronunciation right here, H-A-W-A-H. How do you spell Yahweh? Y-A-H-A-W-A-H. To be subsist signifies how he who is, or subsists, i.e. eminently and in a manner superior to all other beings, and is essentially the same with the H-A-W-H, which is, I don't know how to pronounce that, Ehia, which goes back into I am, which is what it's not the actual name, but it's more of the a title, to be exact. It's simple. So, and just to be clear, let me get up here. There are websites with the Paleo Ancient Hebrew Index, which we can go into the same Genesis and see the exact same Tetragrammaton in its original Hebrew alphabet. Let's I think I'll go back a little bit, Genesis chapter 3, and jump down to verses 15, just to show you the exact same thing what I'm saying. So when you translate it back to this, and they go back into the ancient Hebrew language, you get Yahweh. Right? I want to show you this immediately. Verse 15 in the English, the Hebrew here. Let me get the English too, so you could see what I'm talking about. The English 15. So bear with me. King James Version, please. No, this is Genesis. So like Exodus I want to go into. Exodus I want to go into. So like, let me go back. Exodus 3. My goodness, I always get that. Exodus 3 and verse 15. Alright, we in 15 I believe, where we have right here the Paleo tongue, the Hebrew tongue, King James Version right here, right? So let me read it. And power said, moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh power of your fathers. So you see it right here. So let's go down and trace it back. We have bam, bam, coming down into what you see in here. Let's make sure and bring it. This little square text is seen here. That F, that backward F, Y, backward F and Z basically. That's the name right there. The exact same name that the scholars, your very scholars, know and choose not to teach.
I started right into that. And then he realized, I said, somewhere along the line, at what point? Like it looks like he continued to write. Not to take up.
And notice how this scholar knows exactly what they are saying in the text. Why is that? Because what the scripture tells you that Esau gave it a diligent search. He gave it a diligent search unto us on things that we like, things that we know, things that we are pleased with, things that are made for us, so that he could do what? Confuse and confound us. Keep us in a low estate against the Father. So when he brought this out, you could go back into the very same lost lunar stone. The elders already not elders, a few brothers have said it, that there's literally scratch of the name. The literal scratch of the name of the Father on that same stone that we have recorded here right now. Let's go into it.
Not to uphold. Et down here, that's missing. The aleph is gone. The ta is there. Et Shem.
Right, what you seeing here? Backward F, Y, backward F, Z. Right next to it, right?
Yahweh.
Wait, what?
The name of the Lord.
Wait, what?
Yahweh.
Wait, what?
The name of the
One more time?
Yahweh.
Wait, what? One more time?
It's missing. The aleph is gone. The ta is there. Et Shem. Yahweh.
One more time.
Et Shem. Yahweh.
One more time.
Yahweh.
One more time.
And the ta is there. Et Shem. Yahweh. The name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord. Yeshua. Yeshua for not.
See that?
For.
See that? See that? Yahweh, the name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Yahweh. What is his name? Yahweh. What's his name? Yahweh. One more time. Yahweh. Can we agree that his name is Yahweh? Now, can we agree or not? Let's go back again.
Et Shem. Yahweh. The name of the Lord.
So Esau do a diligent search, which is why he's able to do what? Translate and understand the scriptures. Not the scriptures more so, but the languages. So when Mr. Ben Yehudi added in these points, changed the language from a sacred language by adding in new words and letters into it, which is literally the construct of Yiddish. If y'all are calling by names that goes along the lines of U, E, O, V, you are off. Because the purpose for the pure language, go back into Zephaniah again, just to reiterate, maybe you didn't understand why the pure language was given to us, right? Zephaniah chapter 3 and verses 9. And it says, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to do what? Serve him with one consent. What is the purpose of calling the name upon and the Father? To serve him with one consent, meaning his name matters. Not you can call upon different names. No. His name matters. Because even when you go into the prophecy of what would have taken place, which has been taking place even up to today, Hebrews chapter 2 and verses 30, let's read. Coming down, it says what? For I know that this is a stiff-necked people, but for I know that they will not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity they shall remember themselves. Keep listening, and shall know that I am Yahweh their power, for I give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. How are they going to be able to think upon the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? By the prophets and elders and apostles, by learned men doing their diligent research to understand what took place back then, so that they can provide the name back to us, so that we can have it back into remembrance to do what? Serve Yahweh with one consent. That's the point of the language, which is why Esau had to confuse the language, because in order for we to get back that strength via the name, we would have to know the true language. So he changed it, he confused it, he fused it, he mixed it, and then from there translating to English, what people just call it today a curse language. So it was then from Yiddish to now even more confusion. Now everybody must learn English in every country and nation. See what they are doing? Are you seeing what they are doing? They are gapping the large language barriers between you and the original tongue. That's all they are doing. And that is what are the main points to prevent you from going back to power. But according to prophecy, it's not good. That wasn't going to happen forever. We had to get back. We had to get it back. We have to get it back, which we have today. The same thing that happened back then, the same thing that happened today. So I hope this information, I'm trying to make it as short as possible. I hope this information, because there's more to it. There's literally more to it. I hope that's what was indeed edifying. What did Scripture tell you? I will proclaim the name of Yahweh before thee. I will call out my name. Understand? There's no getting around that. It have no getting around that. Short and sweet. Shalom Yasharala. Kal Halalyam Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. We give double honors to the apostles and prophets and elders of James Khan, better known as great minister, for the bring forth the 100% truth that I be greatly edified under. Shalom to the elect, tabernacle of David, and I, Roberta Zariak, saying to you, before I say shalom, you gotta understand one thing. Many other nations have adopted the name Yahuwah and Yahushua and Yahweh, but notice it's a small, minute group that has adopted the name Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You realize that? What the scripture tells you, the elect shall praise his holy name. And who is the elect? The 144,000 out of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, and not to mention the 1/3. That's starting with the elect. That's the minute group. The elect shall praise his holy name. So everybody is not going to get or grasp the name. So if you have a name that is called, that everyone has adopted and called, and then you have a minute group that is called on a certain name, now you could literally get back by just going and do your research. You would see it yourself. Diligent research, you would see it yourself. then who are you going to follow? The one that one that adopted, the majority that adopted the name, the other name, make it make sense. When the elect is as a remnant of Israel, make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. So shalom.